They never wanted you to read this book, not because it's dangerous, but because it's liberating. You've been told life is about luck, status, or hard work alone, but that's only half the truth. Hidden deep in this forgotten manuscript is a formula, an ancient code, that shows how reality bends to your intention. This isn't fiction. It's not mysticism. It's a blueprint, quietly passed down, nearly erased, and now resurfacing. This book doesn't ask you to believe in magic. It teaches you how to become it. Your thoughts? They plant the seeds. Your emotion? It waters them. Your belief? That's the sunlight. And what grows is your life. Most people attract by default. This book teaches you to attract by design. Not through wishing, but through energetic
alignment, repetition, and inner authority. If you've ever felt like there was something more, something just out of reach, this is it. This is the book they hoped you'd never find. But now that you have, the question becomes, will you read it, or will you remember it? Chapter 1. The book they tried to bury. They didn't ban it outright, they buried it, wrapped it in metaphor, veiled it in allegory, and pushed it into the shadows of forgotten history. Because this book didn't just share ideas, it shared power. The kind of power that could free a mind from manipulation, free a soul from dependence, and ignite the awareness that everything you're searching for already lives inside you. The moment you read it with eyes that are ready, it no longer feels ancient, it feels activated. This book wasn't written for the masses, it was whispered to the few. Not because truth should be exclusive, but because not everyone is ready for the responsibility that truth demands. It tells you something most systems never will, that your life isn't shaped by circumstances, but by your energy. And when you understand how to direct that energy with intention, the world outside of you bends in response to what's inside. There's a reason these pages are hidden behind language most people skip over. It's not that the message is unclear, it's that clarity requires depth. This book demands you go inward, not outward. That you listen to your alignment more than anyone else's advice. Because it knows. The ones who need permission to live fully will never truly be free. But the ones who realize they were born with permission, they become unstoppable. If you've ever felt like you didn't belong to the systems around you, like something deeper was calling, you're not wrong. This book echoes that feeling. It's not here to give you the steps to follow, it's here to wake up what's already in you, to remind you that manifestation isn't about forcing life, it's about becoming the frequency that life can't help but respond to. They buried it not to protect you, but to protect control. Because when people learn that they are the source, the system loses its grip. And that's the secret. That's what they didn't want you to read. Not because it's dangerous, but because it's true. Chapter 2. Why desire alone doesn't work. Desire is powerful, but it's only the spark, not the fire. Most people live their lives believing that wanting something deeply is enough to pull it into existence. But the truth is, desire without direction becomes restlessness. It creates yearning, not receiving. Just because you want something doesn't mean you're aligned with it. That's the difference most people never see. Desire is the beginning, not the completion. You can want success, love, healing, or peace, but if your inner frequency doesn't match the energy of that outcome, your desire becomes resistance. You'll push harder, think more, worry deeper, and attract more of the lack. The universe doesn't respond to your wish list. It responds to your emotional tone, your vibrational output, your embodied belief. Without those, desire sits idle, loud, but powerless. Desire that's not grounded in belief becomes emotional noise. You can scream your dreams into the sky every day, but if your subconscious is still soaked in doubt, you're tuning your signal to not enough. And that's what life echoes back. The universe doesn't hear what you want, it mirrors who you are. That's why some people attract abundance effortlessly while others chase it endlessly. Many spiritual teachers misunderstood this. They taught people to write goals, repeat affirmations, and visualize endlessly. But they forgot to teach alignment. Without it, your desire becomes a trap. You get stuck in the fantasy of a better life instead of becoming the person who naturally lives it. There's a silent difference between dreaming and transmitting, and it all comes down to your state of being. Desire alone creates distance. It whispers, "I don't have this yet." And the more you desire, the more you anchor yourself into that story. It's a subtle form of resistance because every time you say, "I want," you're also saying, "I lack." Energy doesn't follow words. It follows vibration. And lack can't create overflow. You have to shift from desire to embodiment. Embodiment is when you start acting, thinking, and feeling as if you already hold what you once desired. You shift from wanting love to being loving, from chasing wealth to walking in abundance, from asking for clarity to becoming grounded. This is not pretending it's aligning. It's sending a signal that says, "I am ready," instead of, "I am desperate." That shift changes everything. This is why people get frustrated when their desires go unanswered. They meditate, they visualize, they journal, but they forget to become. It's not enough to want peace if you're addicted to chaos. It's not enough to want love if you don't feel worthy. The universe is not confused. It's consistent. It gives you not what you wish for, but what you signal consistently. The truth is, desire alone is passive. It requires no inner transformation. But reality only changes through internal shifts. You must elevate your energy before the world around you reflects it. You must become a vibrational match to what you're calling in. And that means letting go of the craving and stepping into the becoming. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you believe. That's the hard truth. You could want something with all your heart, but if a part of you still doubts it's possible, that doubt becomes your dominant frequency. It's like trying to tune into a station while blasting static. You may reach for it, but you won't hear the message clearly until you quiet the interference. Desire must evolve into decision. Decision says, "This is who I am now." It doesn't wait for external proof. It moves as if the result is already certain. That's the mindset of someone who attracts on purpose, from fear, not from need, but from clarity. They no longer chase what they want. They anchor in it. They tune to it. If you want your life to change, start tuning your energy before your environment. The outer world only responds to the inner shift. Wanting is easy, it's familiar. Becoming is sacred, it takes courage. But only when you become the energy you seek does your life rearrange to reflect it. That's not magic, it's resonance. You were taught to chase. You were taught to hustle. You were taught to want. But no one taught you how to vibrate. How to live in alignment with the version of you who already has it. That's the gap between desire and manifestation. The space between longing and receiving is built from the decisions you make in silence. Letting go of desperate desire is not giving up. It's giving into flow, to trust, to alignment. It's releasing the need to control and stepping into the power of frequency. That's where real transformation lives, not in the asking, but in the allowing, not in the hoping, but in the knowing. So, stop begging the universe to deliver your dreams. Instead, rise into the version of you that those dreams are meant for. Speak less, vibrate more, chase less, embody more. Want less, be more. That's how you shift from wishing to receiving. Chapter 3. The Real Law of Vibration. Everything in this universe vibrates. That's not a theory, it's a law. Before anything becomes solid, it begins as energy, and that energy moves, fluctuates, resonates. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs all carry a specific frequency. They are not invisible forces lost in the air, they are signals. And like a radio tower, you're always broadcasting. The real question is, what are you tuned into? The law of vibration is the foundation under every spiritual truth and scientific principle. While most people obsess over the law of attraction, they skip the law that activates it. Vibration comes first. What you attract depends entirely on what you vibrate. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts, it's about embodying the energy that matches what you desire. You can't fake frequency. You might say the right affirmations, write in your journal, and visualize daily. But if your dominant vibration is doubt, fear, or scarcity, that's what you're reinforcing. The universe responds to your dominant signal, not the temporary highs. And your vibration is revealed not in your words, but in your daily emotional state. Most people misunderstand this. They think if they just want something badly enough, they'll manifest it. But the law of vibration doesn't care about how much you want it. It mirrors what you consistently feel. If you vibrate with lack, you attract more lack. If you vibrate with trust, you pull in aligned experiences. It's not personal, it's energetic law. This law is active whether you believe in it or not. Just like gravity, it doesn't require your understanding to function. That's what makes it so powerful and so dangerous. When you're unaware of your frequency, you become a magnet for your unprocessed pain, unconscious fear, and limiting beliefs. Awareness is your only protection and your ultimate power. To master your life, you must master your state. Your mood is not just a feeling, it's a magnet. Your self-talk is not just inner dialogue, it's instruction. Your routine is not just habit, it's alignment. Every action and reaction tells the universe who you are, what you expect, and what you're ready for. Your life is always listening to your vibration. Vibration isn't about being happy all the time. It's about being aligned, honest, intentional, and energetically clear. You can be sad and still vibrate high if your energy is authentic and grounded. Pretending to be positive while hiding fear creates static. But facing your truth with courage raises your signal. It's not about perfection, it's about congruence. Think of your vibration like a frequency on a radio. When you're tuned to 95.5, you can't receive what's on 101.7. The signal you broadcast determines the messages you receive. This is why people say they're stuck, not because life is against them, but because their energy is out of sync with their desires. Change the signal, and the reality changes too. You are always vibrating, even in silence, even in stillness, and the law of vibration never turns off. Whether you're aware of it or not, your body is a beacon, your mind is a transmitter, and your emotions are the message. Every part of you is broadcasting. The only way to change what comes to you is to change what comes from you. This law isn't about hustle, it's about harmony. You don't need to force things to happen. You need to become the version of yourself that naturally attracts what you want. That means letting go of urgency and tuning into certainty. It means dropping the desperate energy and rising into deliberate frequency. That's when reality bends in your favor. Energy never lies. People might, situations might, but your vibration never does. That's why the most powerful transformations begin inward in the still moments, the quiet thoughts, the subtle shifts. You don't need to change the world around you first. You need to change the world within you. The outer responds to the inner. The law of vibration is not something you use, it's something you become aware of. When you live unconsciously, you vibrate by default. When you wake up, you vibrate by design. That's the path of the conscious creator, not to control life, but to align with the version of life that matches your inner evolution. There's no shortcut here. You can't bypass your vibration with tricks or hacks. You must feel it, own it, heal it, and raise it. This is the real work. Not chasing more, but becoming more. Not begging for change, but becoming the cause of it. Because when you elevate your frequency, the universe has no choice but to meet you there. So stop asking when your life will change. Start asking when your energy will. Because everything you want already exists on a frequency. And the moment you tune into it without fear, without force, it starts finding its way to you. That's not fantasy, that's resonance. The law of vibration is always on, and once you learn to work with it, life stops being a struggle and starts becoming a reflection of the power, peace, and purpose already within you. Chapter 4. Frequency is the root, not thought. You've been told that thoughts create your reality, but that's only half the story. Thoughts are surface. Frequency is the root. A positive thought with a negative frequency still emits lack. That's why affirmations without embodiment don't work. They sound good, but the signal behind them is misaligned. Your core vibration overrides your conscious words. You can say, "I am abundant," all day long, but if your body feels tense and your nervous system is wired with fear, your frequency tells the truth. The universe doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to what you are. And what you are is measured in frequency, not volume, not intellect, energy. This is why people get confused when they think positively but still attract chaos. Their thoughts were rehearsed, but their frequency was unresolved. You can't outthink energy, you must shift it. And shifting doesn't start with the mind. It starts with the body, the breath, the emotional baseline you carry through your day. Frequency isn't fantasy, it's physics. Everything emits a vibration, and every vibration attracts a match. Your thoughts can help shape your direction, but your frequency is what opens the door. It's the silent language between you and the field of reality, and it speaks before words ever do. Many live disconnected from their true vibration because they've been trained to focus only on the mind. But real transformation happens in the subtle realm, in the way you breathe when no one's watching, in the way you hold your posture, in the energy behind your smile. These micro-signals make up your macro attraction. You are like a song playing on a cosmic radio station. If your tune is self-doubt, fear, or survival, even your most polished thoughts will sound off. But when your core frequency is clarity, trust, and alignment, your reality becomes music. It flows, it synchronizes, it manifests without effort, because it's resonating, not resisting. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what you are is not your job title, your appearance, or even your beliefs. It's your frequency. And frequency is a result of your internal alignment, the harmony between your thoughts, emotions, and nervous system. To change your life, don't start with strategy. Start with signal. Ask yourself, how do I feel when I'm alone? What do I radiate when I'm not performing for the world? That's the true calibration. That's what speaks to the universe. Your quietest energy is often your loudest message. This is why meditation, breathwork, and grounding are so powerful. They don't just calm you down, they recalibrate your field. They help you unplug from external static and return to your true tone. Because you cannot fake a frequency. You can only realign it. Many people chase mindset without ever addressing state. But mindset without energetic integrity is like a beautiful car with no engine. It might look inspiring, but it won't move. Frequency is what fuels transformation. It's the current that either drives your vision or blocks it entirely. Thoughts are tools. Frequency is the foundation. A shaky frequency can distort even the most focused thoughts. But a strong, clear frequency can turn even subtle intentions into powerful manifestations. Don't just think differently. Vibrate differently. You've probably noticed how some people walk into a room and shift the whole atmosphere without saying a word. That's frequency in motion. Their presence is tuned, their signal is clear. They've aligned their inner world so powerfully that the outer world responds without delay. This is not charisma, it's coherence. When you heal your wounds, your frequency rises. When you forgive, your energy softens. When you stop living from survival mode, your magnetism activates. These are not emotional shifts, they are vibrational upgrades, and they matter more than any goal-setting plan you could follow. Your body stores your frequency, trauma lowers it, truth raises it, denial distorts it, acceptance purifies it. That's why the path to manifestation isn't just about visualizing the dream, it's about becoming the version of you who naturally receives it. And that version is frequency first. Don't chase what you want, align with it. When you become the energetic match to what you seek, it begins moving toward you not as a reward, but as a reflection. Frequency is not about magic. It's about magnetism. Think about the last time you were in deep gratitude. Your thoughts were calm, but more importantly, your frequency was expansive. That's the space where real change happens, not from pressure or demand, but from presence. That's when life starts to mirror back the truth of who you are. Stop obsessing over the perfect affirmation. Start building the perfect alignment. Feel it first. Become it second. Express it third. The rest will follow. Frequency doesn't wait for logic. It works through resonance. And it always returns your dominant state. You don't have to convince the universe. You just have to tune yourself. Your highest timeline already exists, but it lives on a frequency that you must consciously choose. Not once, daily. Moment by moment, vibration by vibration. In the end, reality isn't responding to your thoughts. It's responding to your signal. So if you want to create something new, don't just think differently, vibrate higher. That's the real work. That's the real law. That's the real you. Chapter 5. The Hidden Power of Emotional Alignment. You've been taught to control your mind, but your emotions are the real power source. Thoughts are the spark, but emotions are the current that gives them momentum. When your thoughts and emotions align, you enter coherence, and in coherence, manifestation becomes effortless. Misalignment, however, creates internal friction. You think one thing, feel another, and wonder why nothing changes. Your emotional state is not a reaction, it's a transmission. It tells the universe what you're really available for. You can speak abundance, visualize success, and repeat affirmations daily. But if your emotional tone is still fear, doubt, or lack, the signal you send is confusion. And confused energy attracts nothing or worse, more confusion. Emotions are not weaknesses, they're navigation tools. They're energetic indicators of alignment or disconnection. When you feel peace, love, or empowerment, that's your inner system telling you you're aligned. When you feel anxious, heavy, or drained, that's not failure, it's feedback. It's your inner GPS asking you to realign. True manifestation starts when emotion becomes your ally. This doesn't mean you suppress pain or fake happiness. It means you process and choose. Emotional alignment is not about staying positive, it's about staying congruent. It's feeling fully, processing clearly, and then aligning intentionally with the frequency of your desired reality. Most people sabotage their desires because their emotions contradict their intentions. They want love but carry resentment. They want success but feel unworthy. They want peace but live in chaos. The subconscious frequency overrides the conscious wish. This is not punishment, it's precision. The universe mirrors your dominant signal, not your momentary hope. When your thoughts, emotions, and body are in harmony, your field becomes magnetic. You stop pushing and start pulling. People, opportunities, and events begin showing up with less effort. That's not coincidence. It's coherence. The universe responds to emotional truth, not verbal repetition. You must feel what you want before it arrives. That's emotional alignment in action. It's not pretending, it's preparing. You're not lying to yourself. You're rehearsing the frequency of your future self. The version of you who already has what you want doesn't wait to feel good. They feel good because they are it. This is why gratitude is so powerful. Gratitude aligns you emotionally with having, not lacking. It moves you out of craving and into receiving. It says, I already have enough, and from that place, more flows naturally. The emotionally aligned don't chase, they attract, they embody. Emotionally aligned people protect their peace like treasure. They understand that low-frequency emotions are expensive. They choose environments, people, and habits that nourish their energy, not drain it. Because they know the real cost of misalignment isn't discomfort, it's disconnection from their creative power. Your emotional baseline is the set point of your reality. Raise it, and everything changes. Not because the world suddenly got better, but because your inner world became a match for a higher external experience. That's the power of alignment. It doesn't just change how you feel, it changes what's drawn to you. If you keep repeating cycles, check your emotions. If you attract the same challenges, check your frequency. Emotional patterns are like magnets, they repeat until released. You can't heal with logic alone. Emotion must be processed, released, and recalibrated. That's when transformation sticks. Alignment is not perfection. It's honesty. It's saying, I feel this, without judgment, then gently choosing the emotion that aligns with your vision. It's responding, not reacting. Feeling, then flowing. That's emotional maturity. That's power. That's how you shift timelines. The emotionally aligned don't fake positivity. They cultivate stability. They know that emotions are teachers, not enemies. They sit with anger to find truth, with sadness to find healing, with fear to find clarity. They don't run, they listen. And by listening, they realign. Your emotions are energetic data. When ignored, they become sabotage. When honored, they become strategy. The goal isn't to feel happy all the time. It's to feel true and then choose high-frequency truth. Joy is powerful. So is courage. So is peace. These aren't fluffy ideas, they're strategic energies. The more aligned you are emotionally, the less resistance you encounter. Resistance isn't always external, it's internal conflict. When your thoughts say go and your emotions scream stop, you stay stuck. But when both say yes, the path clears. That's alignment. That's the flow state everyone talks about. To align emotionally, start with presence. Breathe, ground, listen. Don't rush to fix the feeling. Honor it. Emotions pass when felt fully. What lingers is what's ignored. You can't bypass pain with affirmation. You heal it with attention, then choose differently from a place of wholeness. Your emotions are sacred technology. They're designed to keep you aligned, not stuck. Stop judging yourself for feeling bad. Start asking what the feeling is showing you. Every low emotion carries a message. Read it. Then shift it not from force, but from understanding. In the end, emotional alignment is the doorway to everything you want. It's the missing link between desire and reality. You don't need to become someone else. You need to become congruent with who you really are. And that version of you is calm, clear, powerful, and emotionally in tune. Let your emotions guide you, not control you. Let them point the way to your inner misalignments. Then gently course correct. You're not broken, you're tuning. And the more you tune, the clearer the signal. And with clarity comes attraction. With coherence comes creation. You are already powerful, but that power needs a clear current, and emotion is the current. Align it, and everything else aligns around it. This is the hidden key, the silent power. The emotional code behind everything you've ever wanted. Don't ignore it, embody it. When you align your emotions, you're not just changing how you feel, you're changing the frequency that shapes your reality. Most people try to think their way into a better life, but the mind only works on the surface. The emotional body goes deeper. It's the emotional resonance behind your thoughts that the universe listens to, not the words alone. Think of your emotional energy as a signal tower. When it's tuned to desperation, fear, or lack, that's what echoes back. But when it's tuned to peace, faith, or confidence, those frequencies return to you in people, outcomes, and synchronicities. It's not magic, it's energetic cause and effect. Emotional alignment doesn't mean you avoid pain, it means you don't live in it. It's the difference between acknowledging sadness and becoming it, between noticing fear and letting it run your life. Emotional maturity allows you to witness your emotions without becoming enslaved by them. You'll know you're aligned when peace becomes your home, not your vacation, when chaos no longer excites you, when you stop chasing highs and start maintaining steady power. That's emotional mastery. Not numbness, but stability. Not silence, but harmony. The challenge is consistency. It's easy to align when life is smooth, but true alignment is tested in the storm. Can you stay grounded when the world shakes? Can you choose love when fear knocks? Can you stay focused when distraction calls? That's the real work. That's where alignment becomes transformation. Emotions also store memory. Your body remembers what your mind forgets. Traumas, patterns, and beliefs are not just thoughts, they're felt experiences. Emotional alignment requires unlearning old pain. It means facing buried feelings and letting them surface. Only then can you shift your energetic set point for good. One powerful way to realign emotionally is through the body. Movement, breathwork, and somatic practices help you discharge stuck energy. Because alignment isn't always about thinking better, it's about releasing the noise that blocks your true signal. When the body is clear, the emotions can reset. You'll attract differently when you feel differently. That's the secret no one tells you. You don't need to beg the universe for blessings. You become the version of you who naturally receives them. And that version feels aligned before the outcome arrives. That version leads with frequency, not force. It's not about being positive all the time. That's spiritual bypassing. It's about being real and still choosing the frequency that moves you forward. Anger can fuel boundaries. Sadness can spark healing. Every emotion has a sacred purpose. Use them. Don't suppress them, transmute them. Ask yourself, does this emotion support my vision or sabotage it? That question alone can reroute your day. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be conscious. Awareness creates the space to choose again, and every new choice sends a new signal. Journaling can help you witness your emotional patterns. When you see your feelings on paper, they lose their grip. You gain clarity, and with clarity comes power. Don't be afraid to write what you feel. That's how you reclaim it. That's how you shift from reaction to response. Don't let temporary emotions create permanent outcomes. Many people burn bridges, quit dreams, or self-sabotage because of feelings that would have passed if they paused. Emotional alignment teaches you to feel deeply without reacting recklessly. That's emotional discipline. That's the real strength. The people you attract reflect your emotional frequency. Not what you say you want, but what you feel you deserve. If you want better relationships, raise your emotional standard. Not by demanding more, but by becoming more. You don't chase aligned people, you resonate with them. The aligned version of you doesn't need validation. They move in quiet confidence. Their emotions no longer swing wildly based on external approval. They're rooted in self-awareness. That inner stability becomes magnetism. That's how aligned people glow without trying. Emotion is the language of the soul. It bypasses logic and speaks directly to your essence. That's why music moves you, why stories make you cry, why energy doesn't lie. Your emotions are a direct line to truth if you're brave enough to feel them fully. Healing requires feeling, not thinking your way out, not distracting, not numbing, feeling. That's the doorway. And through that doorway lies alignment. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Because when your inner world shifts, your outer world follows. You don't have to fix every emotion. Some just need to pass through. Letting go doesn't mean giving up, it means trusting the process. You're not weak for feeling, you're wise for listening. The strongest people are often the ones who cry, release, and still rise. When your emotional field is clear, you walk differently. You speak with conviction. You rest without guilt. You love without fear. That's the gift of alignment. It gives you back to yourself. The real you, not the reactive one, not the anxious one, the grounded, present, powerful one. In the end, it's not what happens to you that shapes your life. It's what you feel about what happens. Your emotions are the interpreters of experience. Align them, and you become the author of your reality. Misalign them, and life feels like chaos. The choice is always yours. Let every emotion be a signal, not a sentence. Let it guide you to a better thought, a better frequency, a better outcome. This is the hidden art of emotional alignment. Master it and everything changes. Chapter 6. The mirror principle. Life reflects you. Everything you experience externally is a mirror of your internal state. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. People, circumstances, and events reflect your beliefs, wounds, hopes, and fears. This is the mirror principle. The understanding that reality is not a random sequence, but a reflection of what you energetically carry. When someone triggers you, it's not about them, it's a mirror showing you an unhealed part of yourself. The irritation, the anger, the pain, it all points inward. Most people fight the mirror instead of reading it. But if you want real growth, you stop blaming and start reflecting. What is life showing you about you? The universe doesn't respond to what you say you want, it responds to who you are being. You can affirm abundance daily, but if your energy is rooted in lack and desperation, you'll keep getting scarcity. The mirror is honest even when you're not. That's its power, that's its gift. Relationships are your clearest mirrors. They show you your boundaries, your patterns, and your self-worth. If you keep attracting the same kind of toxic people, the issue isn't them, it's what in you still allows access to them. Change the pattern within, and the reflection changes without. Every complaint you have about others is often a lesson about yourself. If you think everyone around you is selfish, ask where you're not honoring your own needs. If you think no one listens, ask where you silence your own truth. The mirror is always speaking if you're willing to see clearly. The mirror doesn't lie, but it doesn't punish either. It reflects what you most need to see in order to evolve. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. Life isn't against you. It's for your awakening. Every difficult situation is a message. Every trigger is an invitation. Your reality upgrades when your self-image does. You'll never outgrow the version of life you believe you deserve. If you see yourself as small, limited, or powerless, that's what the world mirrors back. But shift your self-perception, and your outer world bends to match. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. The mirror of life can only show what's already within. If you want more peace, embody peace. If you want more love, embody love. That's how energy works. It reflects, it returns, it multiplies what you project. Avoiding the mirror delays your growth. Blaming life, people, or fate is easier than looking inward. But the longer you avoid the reflection, the more intense the lesson becomes. The universe gets louder until you finally listen, not to punish but to wake you up. The mirror is not just about pain, it reflects joy too. When life feels aligned, when people treat you with love and respect, that's also a mirror of your healing. Don't overlook the good. That too is a sign that you're shifting, that your frequency is rising. The more emotionally clear you are, the cleaner the reflection becomes. When your inner world is grounded, life feels more stable. Not because chaos disappears, but because your energy is no longer distorted. You don't need perfect circumstances, you just need internal clarity. Resistance to the mirror creates suffering. If you resist what life is showing you, you prolong the discomfort. But if you lean in, ask why, and reflect without shame, you grow faster. The mirror loves honesty. It loves self-awareness. It rewards it with transformation. Your external chaos might be a mirror of internal conflict. If your environment is messy, if your relationships are tense, if your finances are stuck, don't just fix the symptoms. Go inward. What belief created this? What habit sustains it? The mirror reveals what needs realignment. Gratitude sharpens the mirror. When you appreciate what life is showing you, you move from victim to creator. You stop seeing problems and start seeing patterns. You stop blaming others and start reclaiming your power. Gratitude turns the mirror into a compass. Every setback is a mirror for your resilience. Will you break down or break through? Will you see failure or feedback? Will you shrink or evolve? Life reflects your interpretation more than the event itself. That's where your power lives, in how you see the mirror. When you stop reacting to life and start responding with awareness, you become the master of your reflection. You stop feeling controlled by external chaos and start designing your internal frequency. The outer world has no choice but to mirror that back. Spiritual maturity is when you stop trying to change the mirror and start changing the message behind it. You don't need life to look different. You need to feel different within it. That's what flips the reflection. That's what turns pain into power. Every spiritual tradition teaches this truth in different words. The outer is the shadow of the inner. As above, so below. As within, so without. This is ancient wisdom, disguised as modern struggle, but it's always been here, waiting for you to see it. You'll know you're evolving when your old triggers lose their grip, when what once upset you now feels neutral. That's the mirror shifting. That's a new frequency reflecting back. Celebrate that. It means the work is working. It means your reflection is catching up. In the end, the mirror principle is not about judgment, it's about empowerment. Life isn't holding up a mirror to shame you. It's showing you who you're being so you can become who you truly are. Every reflection is a chance. Every moment is a mirror. Look wisely. You can't hide your energy. No matter what mask you wear or words you speak, your frequency is what people feel first. The mirror doesn't reflect your intentions. It reflects your embodiment. If your energy carries fear or insecurity, it doesn't matter how confident you try to sound. Life will reflect the truth, not the performance. People often chase external validation without realizing they're projecting internal doubt. If you don't see your own worth, others won't either. That's the mirror at work. It responds to your self-talk, your self-perception, your silent beliefs. Before demanding more from the world, ask what you're radiating into it. You don't attract respect by demanding it. You attract it by becoming someone who respects themselves deeply. The mirror listens to your energy more than your voice. If you allow disrespect silently, life assumes that's your standard. Raise your inner standards, and the mirror will adjust accordingly. Manifestation is not about wishing, it's about aligning. The mirror principle teaches that you get what matches your inner vibration, not what you daydream about occasionally. If you constantly affirm abundance but live in fear, the mirror will reflect scarcity. Alignment means your thoughts, feelings, and actions are in harmony. Sometimes life delays what you want because your energy isn't ready to hold it. The mirror protects you by reflecting what you can currently sustain. If you desire a higher frequency life, your job is to become a higher frequency version of yourself. That's the code. That's the work. Negative cycles often repeat not because you're cursed, but because you haven't changed the reflection. You keep looking at the mirror, hoping it shows something new without changing what you're projecting. The moment you take full responsibility, the reflection starts to shift. Healing isn't about fixing the mirror, it's about cleaning the lens you're looking through. If your perception is clouded by trauma, fear, or pain, you won't see the reflection clearly. But when you do the inner work, the distortion fades. Life becomes clearer, not because it changed, but because you did. Jealousy is a mirror. It shows you what you deeply desire, but don't yet believe you can have. Instead of resenting others, use envy as a flashlight pointing toward your own suppressed dreams. The mirror doesn't judge, it simply reveals. It's up to you to act on what it shows. Every version of your future already exists in the quantum mirror. What gets reflected depends on what version of you steps into the frame. If you continue to be the same person, the reflection will stay the same. Change the inner identity, and you access a new timeline. You can't trick the mirror with temporary positivity. Energy doesn't lie. If your words are optimistic but your core is rooted in fear, life will reflect fear. Long-term change requires deep alignment, not surface-level affirmations. The mirror waits for true inner transformation. The mirror becomes more powerful the more honest you are with yourself. Denial distorts the reflection. Acceptance refines it. When you stop hiding your shadow, when you embrace your whole self, the reflection softens. Life responds to wholeness, not perfection. Sometimes people leave your life because they no longer match your reflection. As you evolve, your mirror changes, and so do the people in it. Don't resist this. Growth demands shedding. Every exit makes room for a more aligned entrance. Let the mirror make space. What you fear will often appear in your life not as punishment, but as a mirror to show where your energy still contracts. Fear doesn't mean stop. It means look closer. It means there's something inside you still controlling the lens. When you face it, the mirror transforms. The fastest way to shift your reality is to shift your beliefs about yourself. Life doesn't reflect what's true, it reflects what you believe is true. If you shift the belief that you're unworthy, the world stops treating you that way, because the world is just your mirror. The people who trigger you most are often your greatest mirrors. They show you where you still react, where you still hold judgment, where you're still not free. Don't run from them, study them. The mirror sharpens your self-awareness by showing you what you can't see on your own. Your outer chaos might be echoing your inner neglect. If life feels scattered, unmanageable, or ungrounded, check your habits, check your sleep, your thoughts, your focus. The mirror only reflects what you live daily. Consistency within leads to coherence without. Abundance reflects gratitude. Scarcity reflects fear. If you want more of something, appreciate what you already have. The mirror doesn't just reflect quantity, it reflects quality of energy. Gratefulness raises your frequency. Fear lowers it. The choice is always within. Everything you suppress reflects somewhere. If you bury anger, it will leak through your health. If you suppress sadness, it might reflect in relationships. The mirror doesn't let you hide forever. It brings everything to the surface so you can face it, feel it, and free it. Your internal monologue becomes your external dialogue. What you say to yourself is what the mirror echoes. Speak to yourself with power, with compassion, with clarity. The mirror listens to your voice even when no one else can hear it. Mastering the mirror is not about controlling life, it's about mastering your internal world. When you choose peace, presence, and alignment, life reflects that back tenfold. The outer world always catches up to the inner. You just have to give it something worth reflecting. Chapter 7. Silence is a manifestation strategy. Silence isn't emptiness, it's energetic preparation. In a world obsessed with noise and constant output, silence becomes a rare and potent tool. When you choose stillness, you signal to the universe that you're not desperate. You're aligned. You're already becoming what you seek to receive. Every time you speak about your dreams prematurely, you leak power. Not because the dream is fragile, but because energy scattered too early becomes diluted. Silence lets your vision grow roots before you expose it to external winds. It's not secrecy, it's sacred protection. The most powerful intentions don't need public validation. They don't need to be announced. They need to be embodied. When you hold your goals quietly, you build an inner field of focused energy that magnetizes your desires faster than noise ever could. Silence removes interference. It helps you tune out the opinions, projections, and fears of others. When you stop broadcasting every move, you gain clarity. You hear your intuition more clearly. You stop confusing external feedback with inner truth. Manifestation isn't just about asking, it's about becoming. Silence allows you to practice your becoming without needing applause. You step into your future self quietly, consistently, and deliberately. And that's when the world begins to respond in ways that feel almost magical. There is power in not explaining, in not defending, in not oversharing. When you choose silence, you conserve the energy that would have been spent convincing others. That energy gets redirected into building, refining, and aligning with what you're calling in. Silence sharpens vision. It helps you see the real reason behind your goals, not just what you want, but why. In quiet, the surface-level desires fall away, and what remains is what truly matters to your soul. That clarity accelerates manifestation. The universe responds to focus, and silence is a declaration of focus. It's you saying, "I don't need to prove this to anyone. I'm already aligning with it." That kind of quiet certainty sends a strong signal, the signal of readiness, of embodiment, of arrival. You don't owe everyone access to your inner process. Not every phase needs to be documented or explained. Some seasons require full energetic immersion, not constant reporting. The most sacred shifts happen in private, then reveal themselves through results. When you move in silence, you escape resistance. Others can't doubt, block, or question what they don't see coming. That gives your manifestation a protected space to evolve. Silence becomes your shield against the world's noise and your own inner sabotage. Talking about your dreams can feel productive, but too much talk becomes a substitute for action. Silence helps you close the gap between intention and execution. You stop discussing what you're going to do, and instead you start doing it. There's a divine rhythm to quiet seasons. Nature grows in silence. Seeds break open underground. Trees expand their roots in stillness. Your growth works the same way. Just because it's not loud doesn't mean it's not powerful. In fact, it might be more powerful because of it. Silence builds discipline. When you keep your process to yourself, you learn to rely on your own validation, not the dopamine of likes, praise, or acknowledgement. That inner validation creates unshakable confidence, even if no one else does. Energetically, silence helps you avoid spiritual debt. When you speak too soon, you start to feel obligated to perform or meet others' expectations. That creates anxiety. When you stay quiet, you stay free, free to change, free to evolve, free to manifest without pressure. Not everything needs a response. Not every doubt needs a debate. Not every win needs an audience. When you move silently, you move with power. That power builds momentum. That momentum turns into breakthroughs. And those breakthroughs don't need applause, they speak for themselves. Silence creates a gap between action and observation. In that gap, energy compounds. It gathers strength. It sharpens your clarity. That's why your most effective moves often happen when no one is watching. Silence isn't the absence of action. It's a multiplier of it. Sometimes, silence is the only space where your true desires can surface. When you stop speaking, you start hearing your soul. You begin to separate inherited goals from authentic ones. That distinction makes your manifestations pure, and that purity accelerates their arrival. Manifestation is a conversation between your soul and the universe. When you talk too much, you interrupt that dialogue. Silence lets the message complete itself. It says, I trust the process. It says, I don't need to micromanage this. That trust becomes magnetic. Your silence isn't hiding, it's alignment. It's energetic refinement. It's preparation for the moment when the inner reality becomes so strong, the outer world must match it. And when it does, people will ask how you did it. And you'll smile, knowing the answer was always in the quiet. So, speak less, align more. Let the energy speak for you. Let your focus replace your explanation. And when the time is right, your results will echo louder than any words could have. That's the strategy. That's the secret. That's the silent path to power. The greatest transformations often happen in silence. You don't hear the shift when an old belief crumbles and a new frequency rises within. But the shift is real. It's energetic. And that invisible recalibration is what attracts the next level of your reality, not loud declarations. Silence is your energetic container. It holds your vision safely while it matures. When you're quiet, you allow momentum to build undisturbed. Each moment, you keep your focus inward, the more magnetic you become outwardly. That's how manifestations compound quietly and steadily. People often misinterpret silence as inaction. But silence, when intentional, is one of the boldest forms of action. It says, you no longer need to react, respond, or seek approval. It says your direction is internal, and that internal shift becomes the compass that rewires your outcomes. The universe understands energy, not noise. Speaking your desires is useful, but once the intention is set, silence is how you align. It's the stillness after the signal that confirms your trust. That pause is what amplifies the vibration. That pause is where power brews. When you sit in silence, your energy speaks volumes. Without a word, you begin vibrating at the level of what you desire. That frequency bypasses resistance. It bypasses doubt. It bypasses explanation. In the quiet, you become undeniable not because of words, but because of energy. The ego wants recognition, the soul wants alignment. Silence starves the ego and feeds the soul. That's why it feels uncomfortable at first. But the longer you stay quiet, the more you realize you don't need to prove anything. You just need to become. Every moment you remain silent about your goals, you feed the fire within. That fire is what pushes you to keep going when no one is watching. That fire is what forges consistency. That fire is what ensures your manifestations don't burn out, they burn brighter. The most potent energy is focused and undistracted. Silence helps you reclaim scattered energy. It closes the tabs in your mind that were left open for validation, feedback, or applause. What's left is clarity, concentration, and the emotional bandwidth to manifest with precision. There is a frequency to silence. It's not empty, it's rich. It carries your intention without distortion. When your words stop, your energy takes the lead. And when your energy leads, the universe follows. That's not mysticism, that's vibrational mechanics. If you want to manifest with speed and precision, protect your process. Protect it with silence. Don't let the noise of the world dilute your vision. Don't let curiosity pull you off course. Stay in your lane, in your work, in your vibration. That's how results accelerate. There's a sacred rhythm that silence gives you access to. You begin to feel the pulse of your own being. You know when to act, when to wait, when to shift. That sensitivity can't be taught through noise, it's only learned through intentional stillness. Silence helps you move intuitively instead of reactively. In silence, you're not playing defense. You're designing your reality proactively without letting outside energies dictate your next move. That's how you manifest deliberately instead of by default. When you don't announce your goals, you take pressure off the outcome. That creates a flow state. You stop overthinking and start embodying. That flow state becomes fertile ground for manifestation, and everything begins unfolding with greater ease and synchronicity. Silence keeps the energy clean. When you involve too many opinions, the vibration gets muddy. Doubt creeps in. Comparison takes hold. But when you stay silent, the energy remains pure. And pure energy manifests fast because it's not carrying the weight of other people's projections. You are the most magnetic when you are the most still inside. People can feel that kind of power. It doesn't shout, it resonates. And that resonance attracts the people, the opportunities, and the results that match your inner frequency. Silence helps you hold that resonance. There's a reason ancient masters practiced silence. It wasn't for mystique, it was for alignment. In silence, they attuned themselves to the unseen forces of reality. That same practice is available to you. You don't need robes or rituals, just presence. You can still celebrate your wins, but do it after they're real, not while they're forming. Premature celebration diffuses energy. Silent progress intensifies it. The greater the silence, the stronger the reveal. Let your results be your announcement. Every great transformation begins in silence. Like a seed planted deep in soil, your dream begins below the surface. It doesn't need noise to grow. It needs warmth, nourishment, and time. Trust that. Trust the invisible work. That's where true manifestation begins. Silence is your sacred space. It's where you meet your future self. It's where doubt dissolves and certainty is born. Make it a habit. Make it a home. Because in silence, you don't just attract your reality, you align with it, fully and powerfully. And when you finally emerge from your quiet phase, you won't need to explain. You'll be living proof. Your transformation will speak louder than anything you could have said. That's the reward of silence, becoming so aligned that your life does all the talking. Chapter 8. Detach from outcome. Anchor in frequency. When you obsess over the outcome, you push it away. Attachment creates resistance. It tells the universe, I don't have this yet, which becomes the frequency you emit. And the universe, always obedient, mirrors that lack right back to you. To manifest, you must stop needing it and start being it. Detachment isn't giving up. It's letting go of the desperate grip. When you release the urgency, you create space for trust. That space is not empty, it's magnetic. It's filled with alignment. It's filled with faith. And that faith becomes the bridge between your intention and its arrival. Outcomes are the fruit, not the root. Your energy is the soil. Your emotion is the water. Your belief is the sun. When all of that is aligned, the outcome grows on its own. You don't need to force it. You need to tend to the vibration, not chase the result. Anchoring in frequency means becoming the version of you that already has what you desire. If peace is the goal, become peaceful. If abundance is the goal, become abundant in thought, in attitude, in emotion. This is how you embody the frequency before the outcome appears. When you detach from the outcome, you begin to enjoy the now. You start noticing signs, synchronicities, and small shifts that were always happening, but your anxiety blinded you. Now, with calm awareness, you start seeing the proof. That's not coincidence, that's alignment. The mind wants guarantees, the soul wants flow. And true flow only happens when you're not grasping. Grasping sends a signal of fear. Flow sends a signal of trust. That trust creates momentum. And momentum is the invisible current that pulls your vision into reality. Desire becomes toxic when it's tainted with fear. You can want something deeply and still be detached. Because detachment doesn't mean disinterested, means inner freedom. It means you're no longer a slave to the outcome. You've become a match for it instead. Imagine holding a bird in your hand. If you grip too tightly, you'll hurt it. If you open your hand, it might fly, but it also might stay. Detachment is the open hand. It's the invitation, not the demand. And that openness is what makes you magnetic. Anchoring your frequency takes daily practice. It means waking up as if it's already real, walking, talking, and thinking from the version of you that has already received. Not because you're faking it, but because you're creating it energetically, emotionally, internally. The biggest breakthroughs often happen after you surrender. You let go. You stop checking, controlling, calculating, and suddenly, boom, it arrives. Not because you gave up, but because you let go. You got out of the way and allowed the universe to do what it does best: deliver. You can't control timing, but you can control your vibration. That's your job. That's your work. The frequency you anchor into determines the reality you tune into. So choose the feeling of fulfillment, not the anxiety of waiting. That shift changes everything. Don't let outcomes hold your peace hostage. Make your peace non-negotiable. When you anchor your frequency in calm certainty, you become less reactive, more intuitive. You respond to life rather than chase it. And that is the energy of mastery. Detachment gives you power because it pulls your energy back to you. No more leaking energy into what-ifs. No more needing external reassurance. You become your own source of stability. You become the anchor, not the wave. And that changes your entire reality. When you're anchored in your frequency, you don't look for signs, you become the sign. You no longer wait for validation. You embody the vibration, and the universe adjusts around you. People feel it. Opportunities feel it. And results begin to reflect it. Outcomes are unstable. Energy is consistent. Focus on consistency. Focus on the emotional baseline you're maintaining every day. If it's aligned, outcomes must follow. If it's not, no outcome will feel satisfying. That's why frequency always comes first. You're not waiting on the outcome is waiting on you. Waiting for you to stop doubting, waiting for you to stop clinging, waiting for you to raise your frequency to the level where the outcome already exists. That's the hidden truth of detachment. Detach not because you don't care, but because you trust. Trust that what's aligned for you cannot miss you. Trust that your job isn't to force it, but to tune to it. Detachment is the ultimate expression of inner confidence. It's how you say, "I already have it," energetically. Let go of timelines. Time is not linear when it comes to manifestation. One shift in your frequency can collapse months of waiting. Detachment accelerates this shift. It shortcuts the delay. Why? Because when you feel complete, the universe delivers completion. There is peace in detachment, a peace that says, "Whether it comes today or not, I am whole." That kind of energy doesn't repel. It attracts, it invites, it welcomes. Because it no longer needs, it knows. And knowing is the most magnetic frequency of all. In the end, the goal is not the goal. The goal is the state you think the goal will bring. So anchor into that state now, not later, not someday, now. Because the moment you do, you're no longer chasing reality. You're creating it from within. When you stop obsessing over how things will happen, you give life permission to surprise you. Obsession is rooted in fear. It assumes failure, unless constantly monitored. But detachment speaks a different language. It says, "I trust what's coming because I trust what I've become." So much energy is wasted in chasing outcomes that would naturally arrive if you focused inward instead. The anxious mind wants external proof, but the calm soul knows the truth. Everything outside is a mirror. If you want peace outside, anchor peace inside. Chasing creates emotional exhaustion. It puts your nervous system on high alert. Detachment restores you. It brings your body back to safety, your mind back to clarity, and your spirit back to alignment. When you detach, you breathe easier. And when you breathe easier, you receive better. Many people think detachment means losing ambition, but the opposite is true. Detachment is ambition without desperation. It's moving with intention, not addiction. It's wanting deeply, but never worshipping the want. This is the balance that creates magnetism. The tighter you grip the outcome, the more you communicate fear, and fear scrambles the signal you're sending to the field. Let go, not because you're weak, but because your strength is finally anchored in something deeper: faith, trust, and inner knowing. You can't fake detachment. The universe reads vibration, not vocabulary. You can say you're letting go, but if you're still checking every 5 minutes, your energy betrays your words. Real detachment feels like relief, not performance. Learning to detach is like learning to float. The moment you stop thrashing, you rise. Not because you changed the water, but because you changed how you showed up in it. Floating is effortless because it trusts the support beneath it, just like detachment. Some people will misunderstand your detachment. They'll think you've stopped caring. But you're not careless, you're just careful about what you give your energy to. Not everything deserves your attention, especially things not aligned with your peace. Attachment is rooted in identity. I must have this to feel whole. But you were whole before the desire even existed. When you remember this, you reclaim your power. The outcome adds, but it doesn't define. That's the freedom detachment gives. You don't have to monitor your manifestation like a hawk. That's fear disguised as control. Plant the seed, water it with belief, and walk away. The universe doesn't forget. It doesn't lose your order. It only waits for your alignment. The more still you become, the louder the guidance feels. When you detach, intuition returns. You start sensing the right moments, the right people, and the right steps, not through panic, but through presence. Detachment sharpens your inner compass. Outcomes become distractions when they hijack your peace. If you only feel good when something external arrives, you're on an emotional roller coaster. Detachment creates emotional independence. You feel good because you choose to. And that energy pulls more good to you. Think of detachment as emotional minimalism. It's decluttering the noise, the fear, the overthinking. It's living with the essentials: peace, purpose, presence. And from that space, you create with more clarity than ever before. Don't mistake detachment for giving up. You're not walking away, you're rising above. You're no longer trying to force the door open. You're waiting for it to unlock, because you've become the version of yourself who naturally belongs on the other side. Sometimes, the very thing you're clinging to is the thing blocking your growth. Detachment lets it move. And in that movement, truth is revealed. You either attract what's meant for you or clear space for something better. Both are gifts. Detachment creates neutrality, and neutrality is powerful. It's not passive, it's poised. It's the energy of "I'm okay either way," which paradoxically pulls the best outcome toward you because you're no longer repelling it with fear. The ego screams for results. The soul whispers for alignment. Detachment is when you stop yelling and start listening. You begin hearing what's real, what's right, and what's ready. And you act from calm, not chaos. The more attached you are, the more pressure you create. That pressure becomes stress, and stress distorts your signal. It's like static on a radio. Detachment clears the airwaves. Now you're broadcasting clarity, and clarity attracts faster. You'll know you're detached when you no longer need it to happen, but you fully expect that it will. It's a quiet confidence, a knowing without anxiety. And that knowing is louder in the energetic realm than any words you could ever speak. Eventually, you'll realize detachment isn't about controlling less. It's about trusting more, trusting your frequency, trusting the process, trusting that what you've aligned with is already in motion, and your only job is to stay aligned, not obsessed. Chapter 9. Identity is the gateway to reality. Your identity isn't just how you see yourself, it's the filter through which life responds to you. Everything you believe, every choice you make, every outcome you attract, flows from the identity you carry. If you want to change your reality, you must first upgrade who you think you are. You don't manifest what you wish for, you manifest what you believe you are worthy of. That's why affirmations only work when they're anchored in identity. You can repeat, "I'm successful," all day, but if your core identity says, "I'm not enough," the world will mirror that internal doubt. Identity is the energetic signature you send into the world. It's not based on what you say or want, it's based on what you've emotionally agreed to be. You don't attract success by chasing it. You attract it by becoming the version of yourself who naturally lives in it. Most people try to change their lives by changing the outside, but it's like changing the reflection in a mirror without adjusting your face. The mirror, your reality, only reflects who you are being at your core. The shift happens when the inner changes first. Identity is not static. You weren't born with limits, you were taught them. And because you were taught them, you can unlearn them. You can rebuild your self-image from the ground up. Every decision to act from a higher place rewrites your identity. When your identity is rooted in lack, you make choices from fear. You shrink, you settle, you accept crumbs and call them blessings. But when your identity is rooted in worth, you move differently. You say no more often. You stop proving. You start choosing. Your brain loves confirmation. It seeks out evidence that matches what you already believe. If your identity says, "I always mess up," you'll subconsciously sabotage to stay consistent. But change the script and your behavior follows. Identity is the root, results are the fruit. Even your habits are loyal to your identity. A person who identifies as disciplined will find a way to stay consistent. A person who believes "I'm lazy" will always struggle, no matter the motivation. The real transformation begins with how you define yourself. There is a version of you who already has the life you want. They're not luckier or more gifted, they've just accepted a different identity. They don't try to act confident, they are confident. They don't fake abundance, they embody it. That's what you're stepping into. Your current reality is just the echo of your past self-concept. It's not punishment, it's feedback. If you don't like what's showing up, don't fight the world, shift the source. Ask, what would someone with the results I want believe about themselves? Upgrading your identity is not about ego, it's about alignment. It's not pretending to be better than others. It's deciding to show up as the highest version of yourself, consistently, regardless of external validation. You become who you practice being. When you shift your identity, resistance fades. You stop wrestling with old habits because they no longer feel natural. You don't need willpower when something aligns with who you believe you are. That's why identity-based change sticks. It rewrites the operating system. Trying harder doesn't work if your identity says, I'm not someone who succeeds. You'll always pull yourself back. But change your self-image, and effort becomes expression. You no longer chase outcomes. You allow them to unfold through aligned action. Every time you visualize your future, anchor it in identity. Don't just see what you want, feel who you are as the person who already has it. What do they believe? How do they move? How do they speak to themselves? Become that now, and the future adjusts. Identity is like gravity, it pulls everything into place. Relationships, money, health. They orbit your self-image. You don't have to chase these things. You magnetize them by becoming the person they naturally belong to. Energy doesn't utter lines. If you see yourself as a struggler, even success feels uncomfortable. You'll sabotage it just to return to the familiar. But if you see yourself as powerful, even setbacks become temporary. Your identity defines what you tolerate and what you attract. Your environment responds to who you are. When you change your identity, your relationships shift, your choices shift, even your language shifts. You start choosing from a higher place, and the world recalibrates in response. Detachment becomes easier when your identity is stable. You don't cling to outcomes for validation, you already feel whole. You don't beg the universe, you partner with it. You're not trying to earn your worth, you've embodied it. Most people wait for proof to believe. But the real alchemy begins when you believe before the evidence. That's not delusion, that's design. That's identity-driven living. You become the cause, not the effect. Remember, identity is not a costume you wear, it's the frequency you emit. You don't act your way into it. You align with it, emotionally, mentally, energetically. And once you do, life has no choice but to reflect back your new self. You are not stuck. You're just committed to an outdated identity. The same thoughts, the same stories, the same emotional patterns. But identity is not permanent. It's programmable. Every new thought you entertain, every boundary you enforce, every standard you raise, those are lines of code rewriting your reality. People don't fear change, they fear becoming someone unfamiliar. That's why transformation is so rare. It's not about doing something new, it's about being someone new, and that's uncomfortable. But all breakthroughs happen outside the identity you've been clinging to. To become a new version of yourself, you must let the old one die. Not in pain, but in truth. The people-pleaser, the overthinker, the one who doubted their power, that version served a purpose, but it can't walk with you where you're going. Thank it. Release it. Your future identity is already waiting. It's not something you chase, it's something you remember. You've had glimpses of it in your most confident moments, your most grounded choices, your deepest clarity. That was never a mask. That was the real you surfacing. The shift happens quietly. You stop explaining yourself. You stop shrinking. You stop tolerating what drains you. Not out of rebellion, but because it no longer fits your new identity. Peace becomes your baseline, and authenticity becomes your default. The way you speak about yourself matters. Words aren't just communication, they are confirmation. Saying, "I'm not good with money," becomes a spell. Saying, "I'm becoming financially wise," opens a portal. Your words don't just describe you, they direct you. You don't need to heal everything before stepping into your new self. Perfection isn't a requirement, alignment is. Start showing up as the version of you who respects their time, their energy, and their boundaries. Confidence will catch up. People will feel the shift before you speak it. Your posture changes, your tone sharpens, your eyes carry calmness. That's the power of embodied identity. You don't need to convince anyone. The energy announces it before your words do. You can't outperform your self-image. That's why many stay stuck in cycles, because they're trying to win with a losing identity. The key is to upgrade your inner game. What do you believe you deserve? What do you allow? What do you settle for? The stories you tell about your past shape your identity. But those stories aren't facts, they're interpretations. You can decide today to reinterpret your past as preparation, not punishment. That one reframe changes everything you allow into your life. Protect your new identity like sacred ground. Not everyone will understand it. Some will mock it, doubt it, or feel threatened by it. Let them. You're not shifting for approval, you're shifting for alignment. Don't water yourself down for comfort. There's a quiet confidence that comes from identity. It doesn't scream, it doesn't seek validation. It moves with clarity. It knows what belongs and what doesn't. And it doesn't beg. That energy is rare, and that's why it's magnetic. When you align your identity with your higher self, decisions become easier. You don't negotiate with temptation. You don't justify distractions. You choose what matches your frequency, and everything else falls away without drama. You can't fake identity. You can fake habits, words, and effort for a while, but your energy reveals the truth. That's why the deepest work is always internal. The world doesn't respond to what you pretend to be. It responds to what you really are. You'll notice life feeling lighter, not because problems vanish, but because your response changes. You're no longer reacting from a wounded identity, you're responding from a grounded one. That difference is freedom. If you keep attracting the same lessons, look at the identity you're operating from. The universe isn't punishing you, it's training you. It's showing you where your self-concept still needs to evolve. The moment you embody the lesson, the test ends. Identity is more than confidence, it's congruence. It's the harmony between your beliefs, words, and actions. When all three align, your energy becomes unmistakable. That's when manifestation stops being a mystery and starts being momentum. Every morning is a portal to a new identity. You get to choose who you'll be that day. Will you act from fear or from faith, from habit or from vision, from survival or from power? Don't wake up as yesterday. Create yourself again, on purpose. This is not ego's emergence. Your new identity doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you aligned. You're not better than others. You're just more in tune with your purpose. And that's a gift to the world, not a threat. Close the gap between who you are and who you want to be, not by striving, but by being. Speak from that version, dress like that version, move like that version, think like that version. Your identity isn't waiting. It's available. Claim it. Chapter 10. The signal you send is the life you get. Your life is not responding to your wishes, it's responding to your signal. Every thought, every emotion, every belief is part of that transmission. You're not waiting for a better life to arrive. You're broadcasting the life you believe you deserve, and the universe is simply matching the frequency. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. You can speak abundance, but if you're still vibrating in scarcity, that's the signal you send. The energetic mismatch is why you feel stuck. Reality is not ignoring you, it's echoing you. The signal is not just mental, it's emotional. It's the deep, often unconscious vibration behind your words and actions. You can say, "I'm confident," but if your inner tone is filled with doubt and fear, the signal gets distorted. The universe reads vibration, not vocabulary. This is why temporary motivation fades. You can hype yourself up, but if the signal beneath still radiates resistance, nothing changes. True transformation happens when your baseline frequency shifts not just for a moment, but as a new normal. Your energy speaks before you enter a room. It attracts opportunities, people, and events that match it. This is not magic, it's resonance. Like tuning forks, vibrating in harmony, you magnetize experiences that match your emotional and mental vibration. If you constantly feel like you're chasing your dreams, check your signal. The energy of lack creates more lack. When you embody the frequency of already having it, peace, worthiness, calm confidence, you stop chasing and start aligning. People can feel the signal you send, even if they don't consciously realize it. That's why some are drawn to you and others are repelled. It's not personal, it's vibrational. Your signal either affirms their energy or disrupts it. Your environment is a mirror. Look at what surrounds you. It's not random, it's reflective. Your relationships, finances, health, they all carry the imprint of the signal you've been sending. If you want change, the broadcast has to evolve. You don't have to be perfect to send a powerful signal. You just have to be clear. Clear in intention, clear in self-worth, and clear in alignment. When your inner state stops contradicting itself, your signal becomes undeniable and life responds fast. The signal you send isn't in what you think about once, it's in what you emotionally rehearse repeatedly. If you constantly dwell on worst-case scenarios, you're pre-programming your life to prepare for fear instead of faith. To change the signal, change your baseline state. Meditate, move your body, speak gratitude. Detach from drama. These aren't routines, they're recalibrations. Each action retunes your frequency to match the reality you actually want. Stop trying to force outcomes. Your job isn't to control how it happens. Your job is to hold the frequency of it already being done. That's the essence of trust. And that's how the signal becomes a magnet instead of static. Your thoughts are the dial, your emotions are the volume, and your beliefs are the frequency band. Together they create the unique broadcast of your life. If even one piece is off, the signal gets fuzzy and inconsistent. Align them all and watch things accelerate. The most powerful signal you can send is, "I am enough." When you radiate that, not just say it, everything in your life begins to reorganize. Relationships shift, opportunities open, resistance fades. Because worthiness is the master frequency. You don't need to hustle to be seen. When your signal is strong, you'll be noticed without noise. Quiet confidence creates louder results than desperate effort. The frequency of alignment is louder than words. The signal you send also determines what you tolerate. When you raise your frequency, you'll naturally outgrow environments and people that no longer match you. This isn't ego, it's evolution. You're not better, you're just broadcasting clearer. Every decision you make either amplifies or scrambles your signal. Saying yes when you mean no, holding on to what drains you, doubting your intuition, these things weaken the broadcast. Protect your alignment like your life depends on it, because it does. The universe is listening, not to your voice, but to your vibe. Not to your plans, but to your presence. Every moment is a transmission. The question is, are you sending a signal of trust or of tension? Stop waiting for proof to believe. The signal works backwards. Believe first, then you'll see. Feel worthy, now then you'll attract what matches. Energy leads, outcomes follow. That's the law. That's the pattern. That's the way. You've always been broadcasting. Now, it's time to do it with intention. Craft your inner world with care. Raise your standards, your state, your signal. Because in the end, the signal you send isn't just shaping your life, it is your life. Your reality doesn't respond to begging, it responds to being. When you beg for change, you're signaling that you don't have it. When you embody the energy of already becoming it, life begins to shape itself around your certainty. That's the frequency shift that turns desire into manifestation. Every time you react with fear, you lower your frequency. Every time you respond with calm confidence, you raise it. Reactions are instant signals to the universe. They show your default settings. To change your life, change what you default to emotionally. The signal is strongest when you feel aligned and detached. Aligned means your inner world matches your vision. Detached means you're not clinging to the outcome. This creates a powerful magnetic field that draws in what belongs to you without resistance. Don't underestimate the power of silence in strengthening your signal. Silence allows your frequency to settle. In a noisy world, silence is clarity. It gives space for intuitive alignment and energetic realignment. Stillness refines the broadcast. Your past doesn't determine your signal unless you let it. Every new thought, every shift in belief updates your energetic pattern. Let go of what used to be true. Your frequency can evolve moment by moment if you stop clinging to the old version of you. Even your self-talk is a transmitter. Words like, "I can't," "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never get there" are not harmless thoughts. They're low-frequency codes. You speak them into your energy field, and your life reflects back what you've declared. Be mindful of the media and people you surround yourself with. Everything carries frequency. What you consume, hear, and observe becomes part of your vibrational environment. You can't expect a high signal while tuning into low-frequency noise all day. Your signal is your spiritual fingerprint. No one else can replicate it. It's unique to your beliefs, your focus, and your emotions. That means your path, your blessings, and your breakthroughs are uniquely attuned to you. Honor that uniqueness. Stop comparing your frequency to someone else's results. They may be in a different phase, a different lesson, or a different alignment. Focus on your own broadcast. The moment you try to copy another's energy, you lose your own clarity. Even patience is part of the signal. Desperation is static. It clouds the message. Patience, on the other hand, says, "I trust." When you combine clarity of intention with the calmness of patience, you tell the universe you're ready, not desperate. You'll know your signal is aligned when synchronicities increase. Random opportunities, chance meetings, sudden breakthroughs. These are confirmations that your frequency is in flow. Don't call it luck. Call it alignment. Repetitive emotional states send consistent signals. If you're always angry, always anxious, always pessimistic, those become your primary broadcast patterns. You don't attract chaos, you become a magnet for what mirrors your emotional habits. Upgrade your identity, and your signal will follow. Stop identifying as the struggler, the victim, or the unworthy. When you change your internal narrative, your energetic field adapts, and your external world responds in kind. The signal doesn't lie. You can fake a smile, but you can't fake energy. People can feel it. The universe definitely registers it. Don't focus on acting confident, become confident. That shift in being is what elevates the signal to powerfully attract. Gratitude amplifies your signal like nothing else. It instantly elevates your vibration. Even when life isn't perfect, Finding one thing to be thankful for resets your frequency. Gratitude is abundance in action. It's a signal of overflow, not lack. The deeper your trust, the cleaner your signal. Doubt is static. Trust is clear frequency. It doesn't mean you never question it. It means your dominant tone is belief, not fear. This steady belief is what allows consistent manifestation. Your signal can't be faked with surface habits. Affirmations without belief, action without alignment, hustle without presence, these things don't trick the field. The universe listens to energy, not effort alone. Be the signal, don't just perform it. Your emotional state is the control panel. Learn to regulate it. Breathwork, meditation, movement, music, whatever grounds you. Use it daily. Master your state and you master your signal. It's not about perfection, it's about conscious tuning. The longer you hold a frequency, the stronger the results. Brief moments of alignment are like flickers. Sustained frequency creates transformation. This is why routines matter. They keep your signal calibrated long enough for reality to reshape. Finally, never forget, you are not separate from the signal. You are the signal. You are the vibration, the frequency, the transmitter. Life is simply responding to the energetic truth you're embodying. So embody it with power, with purpose, and with unwavering trust. Chapter 11. Energetic integrity versus mental effort. Energetic integrity is when your thoughts, emotions, and actions align with your deepest truth. Mental effort is trying to force results through logic, control, and overthinking. While effort has its place, it often burns out. Integrity, on the other hand, sustains and magnetizes. One is friction, the other is flow. You can spend hours planning, grinding, pushing, but if your energy contradicts your intentions, you'll keep hitting invisible walls. Energetic misalignment creates resistance in ways that hard work can't overcome. You're not being punished. You're just out of sync with your higher frequency. Mental effort is linear. It believes the harder you think, the more you can solve. But energetic integrity moves differently. It listens, it aligns. It trusts the unseen forces that mental effort often ignores. The mind wants control. The energy wants coherence. People who operate only from the mind live in constant pressure. They think if they just do more, they'll finally arrive. But those who operate from energetic truth don't chase, they attract. They understand that what's meant for you moves toward you when you become it energetically. You can say all the right things, read all the right books, even follow all the right steps. But if your energy says, "I'm not ready," the universe listens to that, not your words. The signal you emit always overrides the effort you project. Mental effort often comes from fear. Fear of not being enough, fear of losing time, fear of being unseen. It's a survival mechanism, but energetic integrity comes from knowing. It's rooted in peace. It acts, but not from panic. It moves, but not out of lack. When you're energetically in alignment, things seem to unfold with less struggle. Synchronicities increase. Doors open. You meet the right people, not because you forced it, but because you aligned with it. That's the power of vibrational congruence. Trying to outwork energetic chaos is like trying to swim upstream with a broken compass. You get tired, not closer. The smarter move is to pause, recalibrate, and shift your inner state. Integrity isn't passive, it's the strongest form of action. We've been taught to glorify effort and hustle, but effort without energetic clarity is exhausting. It's like building a tower on sand. True manifestation begins not with force, but with frequency. You build stronger by becoming stable within. Mental effort often seeks to prove something to yourself or others, but energetic integrity doesn't need validation. It's silent, powerful, present. When your frequency matches your intention, you no longer seek approval, you radiate certainty. The mind tries to control timing, outcomes, and people, but energy doesn't operate on pressure. It moves in rhythm with trust. The more you try to force something to happen, the more it slips away. But when you trust the process, things arrive naturally. Energetic leaks come from living out of alignment, saying yes when you mean no, pretending you're okay when you're not, trying to be what you're not, to please others. All of these create friction in your field. Integrity closes those leaks with truth. Clarity doesn't come from thinking more, it comes from aligning more. The clearer your inner energy, the less overthinking is needed. You begin to sense what's right, rather than stress about what's next. This is the shift from mind to frequency. Your energy carries your beliefs louder than your words. If you say, "I deserve abundance," but feel like you're not worthy, the universe responds to the feeling, not the statement. That's why alignment matters more than affirmations. Energetic integrity requires self-honesty. Are you chasing things you don't truly want? Are you seeking approval or living your truth? Mental effort can mask this with busyness, but energy always knows, and so does life. It responds accordingly. The most magnetic people aren't always the smartest or the loudest. They're the most aligned. Their energy speaks before their words. You feel safe around them, inspired by them, drawn to them. That's energetic integrity in motion. Mental effort says, "Figure it out." Energetic alignment says, "Feel it through." One tightens, the other expands. The more you release the need to mentally solve everything, the more space you give the universe to deliver beyond logic. In relationships, you can't fake energetic integrity. You may act calm, but if you're energetically resentful, it leaks through. You may act interested, but if you're detached inside, they'll feel it. People respond to your vibration before your voice. Working on yourself doesn't mean forcing growth. It means releasing what's not true and returning to who you are at the core. That's energetic integrity. It's not about fixing yourself. It's about remembering your original frequency before fear. In the end, it's not effort that creates your reality, it's alignment. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And what you are is the sum of what you believe, feel, and do on repeat. Energetic integrity is the real strategy. Master that, and the external aligns effortlessly. There's a silent intelligence in your energy that words can never express. People feel it before they understand it. That's why your alignment is your message. Before you speak, before you act, your vibration announces your truth to the world. The problem isn't that people don't work hard, it's that they work against their own energy. They push for things they don't want. They grind for goals that don't align. Mental effort might get results, but only energetic integrity creates fulfillment. Energetic alignment isn't passive waiting, it's active calibration. It's checking in with your values, your desires, your emotions daily. It's asking, am I doing this from truth or from pressure? That level of self-check is the real inner work. The most powerful shifts happen when you stop trying to force life and instead choose to match it. If you want peace, embody peace. If you want abundance, release scarcity. The vibration must come before the result, not after. You can't lie to your energy field. You can fake smiles, fake excitement, fake positivity, but your energy tells the truth. And the universe only listens to what's real. So your alignment must be honest, even if it's uncomfortable. Your aura is a frequency transmitter. When you're in integrity, you become a clear signal. Opportunities recognize you. People trust you without knowing why. You become magnetic, not because of your resume, but because of your resonance. If your mind and energy are fighting, the energy always wins. That's why mentally trying to stay positive never works for long. If the emotional current underneath is negative, the surface smile won't change the signal you're sending. You can study all the techniques, scripts, and hacks, but none of it works if your internal state isn't congruent. Integrity means you don't just say what you want, you feel worthy of it. That's the frequency the universe respects. Energetic misalignment creates confusion in your results. You might be doing everything right, but outcomes still feel off. That's a clue. Something beneath the surface needs realignment. Go within, not harder. The mind loves to do. It craves movement and action, but alignment often requires stillness, space, listening. You can't hear your guidance if your mind is always shouting. Silence isn't stagnation, it's precision. Mental over-efforting usually stems from distrust. Distrust in timing, in self, in life. Energetic integrity builds from trust. The trust that things unfold exactly as they should when your inner state is aligned with your outer intentions. People chase external validation because they're disconnected from their internal truth. But once you're in alignment, you no longer seek permission, you simply move. There's nothing to prove when you already know who you are. Energetic integrity also requires boundaries. Protecting your space, your attention, your frequency, saying no to what drains, saying yes to what uplifts. Your energy is sacred. It should be treated like currency, not given away freely. Mental effort keeps you in your head. Energetic integrity grounds you in your body. The breath becomes deeper. The heart becomes clearer. You stop spinning in thoughts and start standing in presence. That's power. You'll notice the more aligned you are, the less reactive you become. You stop getting thrown off by every trigger. Why? Because integrity anchors you. When you're not at war within, the world loses its power to shake you. Some people look successful on paper but feel hollow inside. That's the cost of living out of alignment. You can have all the results and still feel empty if your energy doesn't match your path. True success feels like peace, not pressure. Energetic work isn't just about feeling good. It's about being real. It's facing what you've ignored. It's bringing light to the lies you've believed. It's choosing truth, even when it disrupts comfort. That's how alignment is built. Every misaligned action carries a cost. It creates delay, distortion, and disconnection. But every aligned decision, no matter how small, creates acceleration. It draws what's meant for you closer, because you've become a clear channel. In moments of doubt, return to your energy. Ask, what am I feeding right now? Fear or faith? Doubt or certainty? Pressure or flow? Your answers will reveal your alignment, and your alignment will reveal your next move. Ultimately, energetic integrity is freedom. Freedom from overthinking, freedom from chasing, freedom from living a life that doesn't feel like yours. When your energy and your effort match, everything you seek starts to seek you back. Chapter 12. Attract by design, not by default. Attraction isn't magic, it's mathematics. Your dominant thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are frequencies. When left unexamined, they run your life on autopilot. That's attraction by default. But when you consciously craft those signals, you design what comes your way. The life you live now is a result of past energetic patterns. Many of them were inherited, absorbed, or unconsciously repeated. But here's the secret. Once you become aware, you become the architect. You can delete the code and rewrite the signal. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So the real work is not chasing outcome as it's sculpting identity. Ask yourself daily, is the person I'm being aligned with the life I say I want? If not, redesign that identity. Living by design requires awareness of your inner environment. Most people monitor the news more than their own vibration, but your internal weather shapes your external world. Energy flows where your attention grows, so direct it wisely. Every emotion you feel is a clue about your alignment. Joy, peace, clarity, you're aligned. Anxiety, pressure, doubt, you're drifting. Don't judge it, just redirect it. You're not failing, you're receiving feedback from the universe. You were not meant to live in reaction mode. Default mode is survival. Design mode is creation. When you shift from reacting to initiating, life begins to respond differently. You don't beg for change, you become the change. Start your day with intention, not instruction. Before checking your phone or calendar, check in with your frequency. Ask, what am I attracting today through my being? Let your presence set the tone, not your to-do list. Design isn't control, it's clarity. It's not about forcing outcomes, it's about tuning your signal. You don't have to micromanage the how, you just have to match the what emotionally. That's how the how finds you. Most people try to change their life from the outside in, but real transformation starts from the inside out. Upgrade your inner story, and the external reality begins to shift in response. That's not theory, it's energetic law. When you operate by design, you stop living on accident. You stop stumbling into situations and start walking into alignment. Life becomes less about managing problems and more about multiplying peace, purpose, and precision. Being intentional doesn't mean being rigid. It means knowing your power and using it wisely. It means treating your thoughts like tools, not letting them run wild like noise. It's building a mental home, not just living in a mind full of clutter. To design your attraction, define your standards. Not just in relationships or work, but in energy. What will you no longer entertain? What will you actively embody? When your standards rise, your vibration follows. Attraction by default leads to cycles. Same types of people, same problems, same blocks. But design breaks the cycle. It creates new outcomes by shifting the root frequency. You don't need luck, you need inner alignment. Your desires are not random, they're roadmaps. But they don't work without emotional calibration. You can't want abundance but nurture scarcity. You can't ask for peace and choose chaos. Design means aligning desire with behavior. Everything you consume affects your signal. The content you watch, the words you speak, the people you surround yourself with. Design requires discernment. Protect your inputs to upgrade your outputs. Affirmations alone don't work if you don't believe them. That's default programming talking over design. To rewire belief, you must feel it, speak it, yes, but also embody it, live it, walk it. Truth only magnetizes when it's integrated. Becoming magnetic isn't about doing more eights, about being more coherent. When your thoughts, feelings, and actions align, you become a signal that life can't ignore. That's the power of attraction by design. Let go of timelines, let go of doubt, replace them with trust and embodiment. Design doesn't rush, it aligns. And when you're aligned, the right people, ideas, and opportunities accelerate toward you. Attracting by design means becoming the energy of your vision now. Don't wait to be chosen. Choose yourself. Don't wait to feel ready. Move while becoming. It's not about waiting for sights, about becoming the signal. In the end, the greatest shift is this. You're not waiting for life to happen. You're realizing you are life happening. You're not a passive receiver of fate. You're an active participant in frequency. Design accordingly, and life will respond. You're not here to chase, you're here to align. Chasing assumes lack. Alignment assumes it's already yours. That shift in energy is subtle but powerful. When you attract by design, you move differently. You no longer need to grasp, because what's meant for you begins to gravitate toward your frequency. Every moment is an energetic vote. What you focus on, feel, and believe sends out a signal. That signal draws in matching experiences. So the question becomes, are you voting for your future or repeating your past? Design is the art of choosing with awareness. Manifestation doesn't begin with action, it begins with calibration. You can take all the right steps, but if your frequency is rooted in fear, doubt, or impatience, you'll repel what you're trying to attract. Get your energy right before you make your next move. Life is not punishing you, it's responding to you. It's not ignoring your desires, it's amplifying your signal. If you keep attracting confusion, ask what part of you is still uncertain. If you keep attracting lack, ask where you're not yet believing in your worth. Attraction by design requires emotional discipline. You can't build a high-frequency life on low-frequency habits. Choose joy even when it's easier to complain. Choose clarity even when your mind wants to spiral. That's how you shift from passive to powerful. Your identity is the broadcast. If you see yourself as limited, you attract limitation. If you embody abundance, you magnetize it. You don't manifest what you daydream about, you manifest what you energetically own. Redefine who you are, and reality takes note. Design is not about controlling others, it's about mastering your inner world. You don't change people to change your life, you change your perception, your energy, your beliefs. And then people and circumstances begin to shift around your new frequency. When you live by default, you often feel like life is happening to you. When you live by design, life starts happening through you. You become a channel, not a victim. You become the architect, not just the tenant. This is where real empowerment begins. Clarity is magnetic. When you're clear about what you want and who you are, life moves out of your way. But clarity isn't a thought, it's a vibration. You don't think your way into it. You align into it. That's why stillness is a power move, not a pause. Stop outsourcing your power to chance. Default leaves everything to luck. Design stacks everything in your favor. From your morning routine to your mindset, every detail matters. Be intentional. Build an environment that reflects your desired frequency. Trust is a key ingredient in designed attraction. You have to trust the process, trust the timing, trust yourself. The more you force, the more you delay. But when you flow with trust, your path unfolds with surprising ease. That's not coincidence, it's congruence. Design requires boundaries. You can't be available for everything and expect alignment. Protect your energy like you protect your home. What you allow into your space directly impacts what flows into your life. You can't elevate while entertaining chaos. Your design needs patience, not passive waiting, but powerful belief. The seed doesn't sprout because you dig it up to check. It grows because you water it with consistency, trust, and space. Your dreams are seeds. Give them time to root and rise. Energy is not fooled by words. You can say affirmations all day, but if your core belief contradicts them, your energy betrays you. That's why embodiment matters. Live what you say, feel what you claim. Become what you desire. Gratitude is a design amplifier. The more you focus on what's working, the more the universe responds with expansion. Gratitude tunes your signal to receiving. It opens portals of possibility. Make it your daily anchor, even in small things. Comparison corrupts your design. When you look at someone else's path, you dilute your own signal. You're not here to copy. You're here to calibrate. Return to your vision. Return to your why. That's where your highest frequency lives. Design means editing. Editing your habits. Editing your environment. editing your narrative. Every piece of your reality either aligns with your future or anchors you to your past. Be ruthless in removing what no longer fits your design. You don't need permission to live intentionally. You don't need validation to radiate confidence. The moment you stop waiting is the moment your frequency gets louder. Design doesn't ask, it declares. And the universe echoes back in kind. There's a version of you who already lives the life you desire. They don't need to be created, they need to be remembered. Design peels back the noise, the trauma, the limiting stories, until that version becomes your default state. That's your power. End every day by checking your alignment. Were you on frequency or off? Did your thoughts support your design or sabotage it? This reflection is not judgment, it's adjustment. Course correct daily. Because the life you want is waiting at the frequency you choose. You were never meant to struggle in the dark. The truth was always hidden in plain sight, whispered through ancient texts, echoed in forgotten wisdom. But now you've heard it, you've felt it, you've remembered it. This isn't just a book, it's a blueprint. Not for control over others, but mastery of your own frequency, your own signal, your own reality. The life you deserve isn't found, it's created. Not by force, but by alignment. Not by chasing, but by becoming. So walk forward differently, think differently, vibrate differently. Because now you know, you are not waiting for the life you want. You're tuning to it. And the moment you stop asking when and start being now, everything shifts.